Now next question is, hatred is destructive of a person's wisdom and conscience that can poison a nation's spirit. Do you agree with this view? Justify your answer. So that means hatred is destructive for what? Wisdom of the people. So it destroys wisdom, it destroys conscience, and finally it weakens the nation's spirit. So hatred is harmful for the individual, for the community, and for the entire nation. So we have to justify this. So let's see now. So let's start with this quote, an eye for an eye. Yes, an eye for an eye makes the whole world blind. That means hatred always breeds hatred, and hatred on both sides keep on increasing, ultimately leading to what? Killing of wisdom, killing of conscience, and weakening the nation and the communities. Okay. So now, so an eye for an eye. So now let's take certain examples now. Now nations work well. So when nations work well when they assimilate diversities. Yes, when they assimilate diversities. And examples are Canada. So we know that most of the people from across the world are flocking to Canada. Even Indians are rushing in large numbers to Canada, inclusive, because they are including the diversity of people. US we know is always a melting pot of what? Maybe people from different countries. Now Kamala Harris, yes, Vice President, yes. Okay. When I talk about UK, is almost signifying the same type of inclusion diversity. So we all know Rishi Sunak has got the maximum potential of what? Winning the Prime Minister. Yes. Now Singapore is a melting pot for the Chinese, the Malayas, and the Tamils. Yes. When I talk about UAE, is again the melting pot for various people from different countries. Diversity. So when the countries acknowledge diversity and manage them well, they progress. But on the contrary, nation's spirit is hurt when the discriminations and hatred destroys wisdom and conscience of people. And the example are like Germany under Hitler, Cambodia under Pol Pot, and even India before independence. So pre-partition India, where the communal carnage was there, led to the partition later. Yes. So when the hatred is breeded, so it leads to what? Destroying of wisdoms and weakening the nation's spirit. Now let's see the current world. Even in today's world, rising racial, ethno, and religious nationalism is hurting many nations' spirit. So it is hurting now various countries when we promote what? Hatred in the form of what? Anything which is creating what? Discriminations against each other. So nation's spirit will be weakened. So now that means we have to act against this. Now to prevent hatred, what India did after independence. So India promoted feeling of unity and diversity, adopted justice, liberty, equality and fraternity for all the citizens of the country without any discrimination. Now democratic right of vote were given to all the citizens, no discrimination. Ensured fundamental rights to reduce and eliminate caste, gender and religion based discriminations. So fundamental rights to all, in which we try to what? Abolish, yes, any form of biasness either on the basis of caste or gender or religion. Fundamental duty number 5, yes, to promote harmony and the spirit of common brotherhood. So that means post independence we have taken various steps to what? Curtail what? Prevalence of biases and emergence of hatred. We have taken actions, but still we are facing various problems. Why are the problems in our country? The problems. Even today in democratic India, hatred and divisions are fueled due to divide and rule dominated vote bank politics. So the question is saying that hatred kills wisdom and weakens nation spirit. So we got the example on the basis of a quote. Then we talked about the nations which assimilate diversities ultimately do well. The nations which are breeding hatred destroys itself. And then we are talking about how India tried to manage the diversities on the basis of various initiatives taken post independence. But still we are struggling to keep our flock together because something is creating problem, that is vote bank politics based on divide and rule. Such politics, instead of healing the divisions, see, when the elections come, there are more divide and rule speeches. So when we know we have a history of what discrimination in the society, instead of healing those, by now doing divide and rule politics, more speeches, creating biases, so instead of healing those, ultimately what promote what more hatred and biases, yes. So instead of healing the divisions, make them more visible and deeply ingrained. So elections become more emotional. So what happened? Election becomes more emotional rather than rational. Why this happens? Because voters lose their wisdom and conscience, and while voting this hurts the nation spirit. So now the voters are voting on emotional issues rather than rational issues, or rational what issues in terms of what properly thinking whom to vote, whom not to vote. They blindly vote, and when they vote blindly, the quality of people in the sitting in assembly parliament decline. So who is getting hurt? What is getting hurt? Nation spirit is getting hurt. So first of all it kills the wisdom of the people, and finally hurts the nation spirit. So loss to nation spirits can be visualized on the basis of certain points. Issues of common concern and collective benefits are neglected. So such type of elections, what happens, the common concern and common benefits, issues of common benefits are neglected, like political, economic, social, environmental justice. So all these are getting weakened. It's not only the people are getting weakened, citizens are getting weakened, but the nation spirit is getting weakened. Now decline in quality of politics and political representatives, so more criminalization of politics happen. Hatred is sustained, such type of divide and rule politics, so what it leads to, hatred is sustained, which weakens the fraternity, and more disturbance and violence, weakens the roots of democratic and constitutional values, yes, weakens the. Hence, hatred is detrimental to wisdom and conscience of people, which poisons the nation spirit. Yes. Hence, hatred is detrimental to wisdom and conscience of people, which poisons nation's spirit. Again, I am showing you we are writing the answers in a very simple manner using the same knowledge and the discussion that we had in the lectures before.